the White Ship. She was one of the fastest vessels that was ever built. The man who should be king of the English now, the son of King Henry, was on board when she sailed off. And with the prince there were 140 knights and many nobles, all on their way from Normandy to England. They say the ship hit the rocks, and then a fire broke out. Even before the White Ship had departed, the prince and his men had begun to drink and get violent. Monks that were meant to bless the voyage were then forced to disembark. Some say the ship had been cursed. The king's son and many of his family were pulled down into the Black Sea that night.
Uh, 1142.
You're forgetting one important detail. Not only these monks, but also Stephen of Blois, the king's nephew, left the ship before it embarked. They say he got ill.
That old rumor.
The same Stephen who calls himself the King of the English now.
What? That cannot be a coincidence.
Yes, it can be. Of course he's king now. He survived. He is the king's nephew.
What do you think, my lord?
I think Stephen is a clever man. Clever enough to have his whole family perish. But why he would want to rule that god-forsaken rock, I will never understand.
What makes you say that? I love my country.
Then why are you leaving?
Well, because I want to see something new.
I'll tell you what you're going to see. A proper country, where people know how to behave.
What about you? Why are you leaving?
You know that's true.
I'm looking for someone.
For who? I guess I should stay out of other people's business. Forgive me.
You English do talk a lot, don't you?
You've done most of the talking.
I just don't know how to feel about leaving my country for the first time. I mean, how should anyone feel?
Fine.
You'll see what happens.
I don't know. Maybe I'm just running away.
You should all get some rest. It will not be long now till we reach Cherbourg.
Thank the Lord. I can't wait to be back.
Back where, exactly? Oh shit! It's intro time again, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to the Pillars of the Earth. You know what's interesting? That intro is kind of taking us through events we've now experienced, from the cathedral burning down to it being rebuilt, and the intro always ends with the cathedral being complete. Anyway, Book 3, The Eye of the Storm, Chapter 15, The Journey. Cherbourg, Normandy.
In the late summer of 1142, I had left my home country, England, for good. My old life lay in shambles, as did my former home of Kingsbridge. Having failed both my friends and family, I had set out to find my baby's father, the man I still loved with all my heart, Jack Jackson. And so early one morning in July, I finally arrived on the shores of Normandy. With nothing on me but a pouch of coin and a young, curious face yet unnamed, who was just as unfamiliar to this new world as was I.
The White Ship. By the way, even though we're already like a couple minutes into this, hey guys, I'm Jinx, and welcome back to the Pillars of the Earth. There we go. The sinking of the White Ship, 1120. The White Ship was one of the fastest ships of its time. It was steered by the son of the captain of the Mora, the ship that brought William the Conqueror from Normandy to England when he invaded England in 1066. Like his father before him, the captain of the White Ship gladly offered his vessel to many members of the royal household of King Henry for passage on their travel from Normandy to England to visit the king. But like all the poor souls who went aboard the ship, the captain did not survive the voyage. In the dark of night, the ship hit rocks and a fire broke out. The ship was dragged down into the dark abyss of the sea, and with it, many of the king's heirs. Stephen of Blois was meant to be on board as well. It is said a sudden sickness caused him to leave the ship before it set sail. That November night, as the White Ship sank, Stephen became the last remaining male heir to the English throne, and thus, some claim he was responsible for the sinking. Makes sense, since it's awfully convenient for him. It got rid of everybody in his family who might be the heir to the English throne, so thereby making him king. Trace Jack's route into mainland Europe. Is that even possible? For us? I won't give the baby a name until I found Jack, okay? The Amoris. And Father's dagger. How could he make us swear that oath? Will I ever find Jack again? Eliana has had a lot of, and still is having a lot of really, to say it roughly, she's having a hard time with everything going on. And it's very, very, is melancholic the right word? It's very something. That it's always, that with her we always have these calm moments. Everything's shit. We have a baby, and we lost everything. We're in a land we don't know. We're looking for Jack, who we might not ever see again, but we're desperately searching. This is not a good situation we find ourselves in, yet there's nice music playing, it's calm, and we're hearing the waves hit the shore. I took the first ship in the morning. Had to get away as fast as possible. Heard there's a lot of fighting for that castle. The ship wouldn't land there. Huh. Interesting. Mason. I recognize those tools. Amazing, like Jack. Let's talk to him, I guess.
You're still here?
Oh, it's you. I'm just trying to get my feet used to good solid ground again. The last bit of our voyage wasn't exactly my pint of ale.
I'm looking for someone.
I'm looking for someone. A red-haired mason called Jack Jackson. He came to France about a year ago or so.
A fellow mason, great. Unfortunately, I wouldn't know a thing. After all, I just arrived here with you.
I
Yeah, I
know,
figured.
but should you meet someone like that on your journey, tell him Aliena of Shiring is looking for him.
All right. Jack Jackson. I'll keep an eye out for you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Really?
That hammer you're carrying, do you happen to be a mason?
Actually, I am. You have a keen eye, mistress.
I guess I just know a mason when I see one.
To be honest, I haven't been one long. Just finished my apprenticeship in Salisbury. Before that, I used to shear sheep with my parents, but I guess that wasn't really for me. Father still hates me for leaving, though.
What will you do to find work here as a mason?
Don't know. That's for me to find out. All I heard was that the wages are better over here.
So you'll just travel from town to town and look for employment?
Right. And I'll start in Lasay. A fellow mason told me about the abbey there. He said these Normans build their churches quite differently than we do back home. I need to see that with my own eyes. Maybe learn a thing or two.
That's great. Maybe Jack went to see the abbey in Lasay. It's a potential lead.
Do many masons go to Lasay?
I dunno. It's really just a tiny town. The mason who told me just happened to do some repairs there once. It's likely he told others as well.
Huh. I left my old life as well.
I left my old life as well.
Scary, isn't it? To start off fresh and all that.
Well, you definitely sound more excited than scared.
Oh, I am excited. Wouldn't anyone be?
I don't know. Maybe. Have a safe journey.
Oh, thank you. You too.
Thanks. I'll try. Stall. They're bargaining for passage. Doing business with the English must pay. Is this blurry? Does this look blurry to you? It kind of looks blurry to me. Maybe on YouTube it doesn't make a difference. Coachwoman. Coachwoman appears to be her coach. She must know her way around France. Let's talk to her. Maybe there's something to be learned. I don't know.
Hey, you. That's quite a bundle you got there. Where are you headed?
Have you seen? Yeah, let's ask first.
Have you seen a red-haired mason? He must have landed here sometime late last summer.
Another ginger in Normandy? I wouldn't have noticed, even if he was carrying a hammer instead of a fishing rod. Maybe you should ask someone in Barfleur. That's where all the travellers come through, the pilgrims and kings. Their lot rarely lands in Cherbourg, with the fortress passing back and forth between Stephen of Blois and Geoffrey of Anjou. Why you even came to Cherbourg in the first place baffles me.
It was the earliest ship I could get.
You must be in some hurry, madam.
Let's just say I needed to get away before I changed my mind.
Fine with me. Who am I to judge?
Alright, maybe in Barfleur. Alright, so we have two entire, I assume, cities that we need to look through. Oh. What other routes are there? Do you know the road to Lasay?
Do you know the road to Lasay?
Lasay.
Been there, seen it. But I hope you're not planning to go there on foot. Tell you what, you give me some coins and I'll treat you to me wagon. You can even change your destination once we're on the road, would you say?
What other routes are there?
What other routes are there besides going through Barfleur?
Oh, I don't know, really. You need to ask the locals about that. But Barfleur sounds like a good place to start. Shake my hand and I'll take you there.
Hold on. Actually... Yeah. Let's leave Cherbourg.
All right. Take me out of town.
All right. Where do you need to be?
Well, that's a very, very good question. Okay. Well, Barfleur is closer, the main port into France. Visit the abbey in Lasay. Barfleur seems like a good place to start, because it's somewhat likely that he's been to Lasay, but I think it's also very likely that he came through Barfleur when he arrived, so that we have to check it out and then maybe make our way to Lasay from there. What else is there? Look at this. Oh, that's England, yeah. We came to Normandy. There's France. Saint Denis. I am afraid of this map. I hope we don't have to look through everything. Let's go to Barfleur.
We went to Barfleur, a scenic port town built on granite. It was the biggest harbour in Normandy and the main entry point for the Normans to their new possession of the Isle of England.
Oh, right. I have to click. I'm
I
sorry.
talked to some of the sailors and fishermen, but no one had remembered seeing Jack. How could they? Almost a year had passed since he, a simple mason, had journeyed through the busy town, a town with no memory other than that of the last king who passed through on yet another one of his violent conquests.
Yeah.
Maybe I was approaching this the wrong way. What had drawn him to France in the first place? The distance to Kingsbridge? Or something specific? What was my lead?
Try Port of Harf. I mean, let's say it's just closer. Can I? Okay, first off, let me save. Keep forgetting to do that. I need to check through this real quick. Because I don't have all the information in it again. According to Jack's mother, the rumors about his father are true. He really was hanged for theft and sharing it. Ellen claims that he was no thief. She was convinced 3 men were responsible. These men gave him a jeweled cup from the Priory of Kingsbridge and later arrested him. Ellen does not want to talk about the men. Who were they? Though she had been in love with the French jongleur come to England. Of course, Eliana doesn't know this, but we have the advantage of metagaming because we know this. We know that our lead is a French jongleur, potentially, because Jack would be looking for a French jongleur who was maybe hanged, even though he was hanged in Shiring, not in France or Normandy. Anyway, French jongleur, jeweled cup. 3 men that we don't know of, though. The circumstance how he came to England, a mystery even to her. I'd assume, if anything, Jack would be trying to figure this out. So that's what we need to think like him trying to figure this out. But our only 2 choices right now are Lessay and Harfleur, so let's go to Lessay.
Lessay was tiny, but
Lessay.
as it turned out, worth the trip.
Oh.
In the small abbey church of the Trinity, I met a monk who claimed to have talked to a man fitting Jack's description. He'd been fascinated by the abbey's rib vaulting and had asked the monks countless questions about the place's construction. The monk apologized that he couldn't tell me where Jack had traveled next, but I didn't mind. I lay down to sleep on the floor of the abbey guest house and, for the first time in almost a year, I felt relief. As I drifted into sleep, I hugged our baby tight and whispered into his tiny pink ear, "We're going to find your daddy."
Oh, we're certainly gonna try. I'm gonna try my very motherfucking best. Make a stop in Le Mans. Follow the pilgrims to... Shit! So can I go back? I can't go back. I didn't know how... Okay. Interesting. Harfleur isn't a choice anymore. Interesting. Follow the pilgrims to Mont Saint-Michel. Mont Saint-Michel. I don't fucking know. Mont Saint-Michel. Michael. That's what I'm gonna fucking say. And we'll make a stop in the Mont. Let's fucking go here.
My father had once told me tales of the Mont Saint-Michel.
Mont Saint-Michel.
Long ago, the
Fucking
Archangel
Michel.
Michael had urged Hubert of Avranches to build an abbey on a lonely rock on the ocean by burning a hole into his head. They say one can go and see his penetrated skull on display in the church of his hometown.
The fuck? Mont-Saint-Michel, something like that.
It was a windy day when I arrived, and the place was crowded with pilgrims. Pilgrims and jongleurs.
Fucking
I
jongleur.
remembered Jack's fascination with these tellers of stories. I spoke to one who was just taking a break. As it happened, he had indeed met Jack, although not in Mont-Saint-Michel, but on a road heading east from there.
Alright, we need to go east.
Apparently, Jack had been hopelessly tracking jongleur who might have known his father, Jack Cherbourg.
Yeah.
But as he'd been gradually running out of money, he'd intended to look for work in Le Mans or Tours. That was about 6 months ago. I was catching up.
That whoever the fuck you talked to remembered a lot. This was a good trip. Make a stop there, maybe Jack went to Tours. Well, a road heading east from there. Are these... Oh. Okay, interesting. So these are, these things are rivers. So a road heading east could lead to both. Let's go to Le Mans, because that was my, that would have been my other choice.
Going to Le Mans reminded me of all the trouble I'd left behind in England. 30 years ago, Le Mans had been conquered by the Plantagenet Geoffrey of Anjou, Maud's husband. And although they'd held it ever since, other noble families kept on pulling at the city, like Maud and Stephen tearing at England.
Interesting. Maud's husband, interesting.
There was no sign of Jack, but I got news of a new kind of cathedral being built in Saint-Denis, just north of Paris. It was possible that Jack had gone there to learn from the craftsmen. That was, if he hadn't travelled further south, looking for work in one of the many churches in Tours, the hometown of Saint-Martin.
So those are our choices. Saint-Denis. I keep want to call it Saint-Denis because you know, Red Dead. Anyway, Great Cathedral of Saint-Denis, or maybe Jack went to Tours. Can I, if we go to Tours or Tours, whatever, can we still go to Saint-Denis afterwards? I'd like to. Let's go to Tours because he still needed money, right? So maybe he went here. Whoa! After 2 months on the road. Tours, Central France. Did I make the right choice? Did I? Ask around if anyone has seen Jack. Church design, pointy arch, construction site. Important looking man. Statue of Mother Mary. You and me both know being a mother is not easy. Church design. The ones like Tom used to make back in Kingsbridge. Everything feels so far away now. Pointy arch. Aren't they usually round? Never seen them like this. And construction site. Just like in Kingsbridge, although the design looks very different. Almost from another world. Important looking man. Seems self-assured. A bit of anger on his lip though. Let's talk to him. Maybe we'll get lucky.
Good day. Are you the master builder?
What is it?
I'm looking for a mason who may have passed through here. An Englishman with carroty hair. He calls himself Jack Jackson.
Well?
A redhead?
Yes. Did you see him? He might have asked for work here.
No, I'm not looking for new masons. We're just doing repairs.
Ah, but was he here?
No, never seen him. Now, stand back, woman. Something could fall on your baby's head.
Yeah, well, you're lying. You're lying. Come on. He's at the very fucking least, he's keeping something from us. Other construction sites. I was told he came here. May I talk to your workers? Are there any other construction sites?
Are there other construction sites around Tours?
Well, yes. It's a big town.
And where would an outsider most likely find a job?
Dunno. Ask around.
Yeah. You hesitated.
You hesitated when I mentioned a redhead. Are you sure you haven't seen him?
Yes, I am sure.
I don't believe you.
Well, that's your problem, not mine.
Why won't you tell me what you know?
Well, do you want to hear my
All right, he was here.
spill of the beans?
Working for me. But I had to throw him out after 2 or 3 days.
Why?
Because he was all want. Let me redesign the roof, let me make the nave lighter. All pretty ideas, but he never shut up long enough to do the work he was supposed to do. Shit, that man was almost as needy as my son when he was still a brat.
He does know a lot about his craft.
Well, I know masons like him. They grow up gifted, but without a mote of discipline in their guts. Can't work with someone like that.
Do you know where he went next?
No idea. Maybe to Limoges or Angoulême. Maybe even to La Rochelle.
Those are three
Seemed to have
entirely
plans
new
for every
leads.
cathedral on God's green earth, but none for himself.
I understand. I'll leave you to it then.
Bon voyage.
Shit. Well, at least we're following up on it. We are making progress, but 3 entirely new leads? Alright, a flourishing artistic center. Another site with another cathedral. An important and free port town. Well, this seems like our best bet. Another site with another cathedral, right? Actually, artistic center. But he was... Let's go here, and maybe from there we can make our way to this fucking place. I'm sorry, man. Names like this, pronunciations like that aren't my forte.
We had just left
Whoa.
Tor when I suddenly felt dizzy. I stopped and made rest, trying to catch my breath, then lost my breakfast in a ditch at the side of the road.
Whoa.
To my horror, our baby too had grown pale, his breath shallow like that of an old man. I tried not to panic, but the next inn was a long distance away and we couldn't stay on the road where it was wet and cold.
Head back and rest. Make it to... Do you think we can? We've done it before. We've been in this this exact situation before. When we were fleeing William from Earl's Castle a while ago. But this time we have a baby. Do you think we can make it?
I managed to walk until the sun had fully risen before I keeled over. A knife merchant who'd been travelling behind me flagged down a coach heading back to Tor and haggled with the coachman to carry me back to an inn.
I should have gone back. Yeah, I should have gone back. Shit.
Back in Tor, the fever got worse. I remember people carrying me into a room, laying me on a bed. I tried to feed my baby, but after that, everything turned into a blur.
You can hear the voices. You can't understand them, but they are there.
When I awoke, Jack was standing next to my bed.
Okay, that's a night. Well, this is gonna be a horrific fever dream.
He scolded me for following him. "You know you could go anywhere you want," he whispered. "Why be stupid and follow me?" I tried to answer, but he just opened the window and jumped out, heading toward ancient Greece, or maybe all the way to Arabia. And in my feverish mind, I followed him.
Shit, she actually went out the window, didn't she? Whoa. The birthplace of philosophy, or the cradle of civilization. Oh, look at the... Sure, let's head to Greece. Fuck, man.
The further I went, the angrier I got. For years, I'd been fighting for my family. I'd committed myself to an oath to my father. I'd built up a business to sustain it and even married a man I despised so I could create a future for the people around me. I'd known nothing but my duty to the men in my life, while the man I was trying to find lived a life of casual irresponsibility. He traveled the world on a whim to learn about mathematics and philosophy, while I had to raise the child he'd fathered.
Well,
when could I ever do anything just for myself? I asked the world as I went on.
it's a sight of great failure and our only choice. Back to Kingsbridge. Not really, but...
I'd traveled in a circle all the way to the edge of the world and back, only to return to the place of our failure. With my eyes closed, I listened to the sound of ripping yarn and crumbling walls, and of coaches carrying good people away into a cloud of crimson dust.
Fuck. And then you woke up.
When the last moat had settled, I opened my eyes again and found myself in a dirty little room. An old maid was sitting next to my bed and smiled at me, then handed me my baby. Oh, dear God, he still looked so pale.
Keep him warm or feed... let's... Feed him? Keep him warm? Feed him? Keep him warm?
The more I tried to keep him warm, the colder he felt. Oh, please, God, let him live. Don't punish him for my own sins. I gently caressed his head until finally he put his mouth to my breast and drank more and more, becoming greedier with every swallow.
Well, that's a good thing.
We had both been spared. We rested one more day. Then I gathered my things and headed back to the cathedral to thank the Lord for his mercy.
Alright. Well, we lived through the fever. And all our regrets came back to haunt us during that dream. Man. I need to thank the Lord for sparing our baby's life. A good place to say my prayers. Oh. Sure. It's as good a place as any.
I thank you, dear Lord.
All right, steady
I
now.
thank you for having spared my child. I thank you for...
Don't let go until it's done.
But why are you showing mercy on me? I failed everyone I cared about. I failed Jack. I failed my brother. And if I never return, I would also break the oath I had given Father. It's just that I feel like I've never had a life of my own. I've always fought for others. And this may be the very first time that I fight for something that I only want for myself. Maybe I should just go back and help rebuild Kingsbridge. Maybe Jack doesn't even care for me anymore.
That's not.
Amen. Huh.
Is this...
I've seen one of those before.
It's amazing, isn't it? The man who did that really had it in him.
I agree. He always did.
Oh, you knew Master Jacques.
Yes, but it's been a while since I last saw him.
It's a shame that the master let him go. In just 1 month, he did so many things.
A month.
The master builder said he'd fired him after just 3 days.
Did he? Well, maybe that's how he remembers it. The two didn't really see eye to eye, you know? To tell you the truth, everyone thinks that he feared for his own job having someone like that around.
Huh.
The last thing Jack did was carve that corbel. It was the one thing the master let him do. Then when he was done, he was asked to leave.
It bears so much pain.
I know. Jacques worked very hard on it. He was impatient and had a temper, but you could see that he tried to overcome it. Conquering that rock was very important to him.
Oh, I understand that so well. Do you happen to know where he went next?
He wanted to walk the pilgrim trail to Santiago de Compostela.
The Camino?
Thank
The Way of St. James?
He said he might find someone there who knew his father.
Just one more thing. How was he when he left?
Never thought about that. Relieved, I guess. He seemed ready for something new.
Thank you so much for your help.
Think nothing of it. And good luck on your travels. May you find what you are looking for.
Thank you. Jesus, thank you so much. Far away.
Isn't it odd? Just when you stop looking, you come across the most curious of things. Like these 3 devices that one of my merchants brought back from Baghdad.
Oh no. Is it another one of your Banu Musa toys, Rashid?
What?
They're not toys, Adriel. They're objects of scholarly ingenuity and reflection.
I will let my valued friend from the north do the honors.
Well.
Jack, if you may.
What's that statue? Winturs.
For one, let me draw your attention
Sorry.
to the magnificent songbird on the table.
Quiet. Quiet. Just don't draw our attention to anything. Hold on. Hold on. He's in tour. Tour, not tours. He's in tour. Okay. That's good to know. I did so little talking this episode, I don't quite know what to say. I'll just, one thing I've kept thinking about. Alright, I'm gonna tell you this while the game is paused, with this music playing in the background, and then I'm gonna end the episode, alright? One thing I've kept thinking about is that Eliana keeps saying that she's, especially recently, you know, she said, she's always done everything for somebody else. Like, she's never, so far, she hasn't gotten to live her life for herself. Which is true. You know, the oath, and she always committed herself to something else, to someone else. And she didn't really get to do what she wants. Even when she was a wool merchant, which she loved, or at least liked doing, and liked being, she was still, like, the reason she did that mainly was so she could support Richard financially, so she could support, so she could stay true to the oath she made, committing herself to the oath and to Richard, and, you know, to her dad. Now, all of that has gone to shit, and she's left England. Now, she has an opportunity to do whatever it is she wants. And in a way, I think she is doing that by looking for Jack. You know, if that's what she wants, if she wants for herself to be with Jack and live with him together, then that is possible now. And if maybe for some reason she decides that that's not what she wants to do, even though think that's not gonna happen. She could do that as well. My point is, this is a clean slate. It's a new country, it's a new everything. She could right now choose to just go her own path and settle down somewhere else, or, you know, travel somewhere else. Do something else, maybe try to become a wool merchant again if that's what she wants to do. She has that opportunity. I think they're gonna end up going back to England and back to Kingsbridge, because I don't think that story is over yet. And there's still Philip, who we haven't heard anything about this entire book. But technically, Elena could just leave, you know, or, you know, continue going. Maybe she could find Jack and they could both leave if that's what he wants to do as well. It's possible now more than ever. It's funny that everything had to go to shit for that option to become available, right? But right now it is available for Elena to just do whatever it is that she wants to do. Maybe it's not that easy, but yeah. Anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed watching, and I will see you all next time. Auf Wiedersehen.